Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chassie Cortez, and welcome to VisMin Speaks. Now, VisMin Speaks was actually launched by PR Works last year. And this is actually created to synthesize various perspectives in the Visayas and Mindanao on different topics as it appreciates the potential of these islands coming together, growing, and developing as one. Now, while content for last year was limited to interviews and photos, this year actually PR Works wants to create insightful webinars, starting with a feature on VisMin women leaders. Rightly so, because we're celebrating International Women's Month. Now, for our first VisMin Speaks webinar episode, we will be focusing on women leaders in media, communication, and information during the pandemic. And we have three of the most established women journalists in the VisMin and the country joining us today. We have Miss Michelle Saw, the editor-in-chief of Sunstar and Super Balita Cebu. Hi, Miss Michelle.
Hello. Hello, Chassie. Hello, everyone.
Good to see you today, Miss Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have Miss Ruth Palo, the CEO of Newsport.ph. Hi, Miss Ruth.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, finally.
Finally.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Miss
Thank
Ruth.
you.
And finally, we have Miss Glazil Mascolino, the former president of the Negros Press Club and a reporter from the Daily Guardian. Hi, Miss Glazil.
Hi, Miss Chassie. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Now, of course, we just have to start the ball rolling with our topic for today. The main topic, actually, a very important question. What is the role of media in this pandemic? Now, I'll be throwing out questions to you one by one. Hopefully we'll make this a really fun session as well, like not too serious maybe, because like we all need that, stress reliever kind of, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let me just start with Miss Glazil. This is, okay, quite a timing, huh? You were the president of Negros Press Club last year, right, when the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. But we actually want to know what challenges are being faced by traditional media outlets now.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I was called as the COVID president of the Negros Press Club here in Negros because it was in March when I assumed office, and then the COVID happened. So during those times, siguro yung print media medyo nahirapan talaga kasi most people really nag-shift sa digital platform, and since maraming print media dito sa Negros din, so there's this local paper na nag-close talaga because of the pandemic, kasi aside from having shortcomings sa income din nila, sa kanilang mga employees. So most of the time medyo hindi na kailangan ng physical work talaga to go on field. So most likely nasa social media na lang, following up stories, monitoring, ganon. So medyo nag choose ng ibang path, which is to shift into digital platform. So ganon, and aside from that, yung mga like sa radio stations and television, since lumalabas talaga sila, nagfi-field sila, sometimes nakakalimutan din nila na to protect themselves, na parang the adrenaline to cover the stories, kasi yung mga time na yon yung height talaga ng pandemic. So parang nahihirapan din kami sa Negros Press Club to remind them na to do their part and to protect themselves. Ganon. So, yun. Kasi meron kaming, may 3 journalists kami dito na nagka-COVID, including me. So, parang, it's really difficult. So, yun, monitoring lang siguro. Ganon yung mga nakakita kong mga challenges so far during that time.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Of course, we can really imagine what also goes through the heads of the journalists and the reporters.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're out, and then all of a sudden, there's also this fear of not being able to meet your deadline, not being able to go to a good source, and also to protect yourself. It's something na parang wearing mask and like wearing face shields. It's something that we're not used to, diba? So
also, new normal.
New normal.
Yeah.
Miss Michelle, are you facing the same challenges in Sunstar and Super Balita?
I think it's true for all newsrooms, not just it's not isolated. When we had the first lockdown last year, we everyone was out of the newsroom, but we sent our artists to the printers because there's our printers is separate from the main office in Cebu City. It's in Mandawi City, so we sent the guys there. The editors, the reporters, and everyone else were working from home. And then the Facebook played a big factor in for us in coming out with the issues. We still have the print issues. We have Super Balita and Sunstar. So we wanted everyone to, especially the newsroom people, isolated from each other because, as well as from the production guys, because we were the crucial department at that time. So everyone except for the artist and the production people were working from home. We just had to do a lot of managing on social media and then on the phone.
Did it ever reach a point, Miss Michelle, that some of the reporters and journalists actually lived in the office now? Did it ever?
No. Everyone was working from home. So like getting news source accessibility to news sources were done through mobile phones and Facebook. So we had to follow a lot of pages, government pages, especially the health pages, then the groups pages. We had to follow them, so the reporters as well as the editors would know what's going on.
Okay.
So was a lot. So much data was being used up at that time because we needed data for our access to social media.
So technology really played a huge part
Yes.
in getting people together. Okay. For Miss Ruth, since newsfort.ph is an online news platform, are you facing different challenges, or are your challenges similar to traditional media outlets?
I was a product of a COVID-19 effect, no? Because I was once a writer ng Mindanao Daily Mirror, and last July, the Mirror was closed due to, apektado nga sa pandemya yung operations ng Mindanao Daily Mirror. That's why we created itong online digital platform bago ito dito sa base in Davao City, and we were formed last November 2020 because of the pandemic. So nagkaroon ng isang digital news platform ang Davao City, produkto siya ng pandemya. Yes, dagdagan ko lang yung challenges na sinasabi nila. It's not only that. Ang problema din natin ngayon is yung difficulty ng internet connection, because we were working at home and we are working at home, so yung problema namin is yung connection talaga ng internet. Ang hirap, no? Kasi yung iba magfo-forward ng mga reports, ang hirap kasi may ganito na problema, ang signal ang hina-hina. So this is one of the challenges that we are facing right now, itong internet connection, aside from yung nawalan nga ng trabaho yung iba, yung nasa bahay na lang, yun talaga yung parang greatest na effect ng pandemya sa media industry. So there are a lot of challenges actually, especially baguhan kami sa digital platform, baguhan kami. So may maraming mga challenges. It's sana doon yung financial support nga, no, yung sa sponsorship namin, because we need also to operate and to work and be compensated sa mga ginagawa namin, Ms. Chassie.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, no, what this pandemic has done to our industry, of course. But it's good that we're also trying to venture out and actually adapt to the situation as well, just for us to survive. At the end of the day, it's the survival of the industry itself as well. I also, we have individual organizations also have different problems or hurdles and challenges that they're facing. I wanted to ask Ms. Michelle, how is it for a leading news platform like Sunstar and Super Balita, especially during this pandemic? How is the whole entire organization actually dealing with it? in terms of like getting the news out and making sure that everything is fresh and everything is what all the people actually want to know, despite the challenges that you are facing?
Okay. Now we're back in the newsroom. But still, maybe half of the newsroom people still work from home, especially those who are assigned to digital and on social media. But basically, for the print people, the editors of print work already in the newsroom, and then the reporters still stay on field. They go to the office every now and then just to let us know they're still alive. uh, uh, and then, so we have trimmed our manpower for the entire company. Not immediately when the lockdown started. Maybe 2 weeks, 2 months after the lockdown, we had to let go of maybe 30-40% of our manpower in Sunstar. And then we just kept the ones whose work was essential. So we had to trim the number of pages, both for Sunstar and Super Balita. We had to trim, we had to compress our workspace. So some departments had to be placed together. Before the lockdown, when we were still at a full height of our manpower, each department had its own floor or big office, but now everything's just been compressed.
Mhm.
So the advantage in Sunstar, we put out the integrated newsroom concept. We started that about 2 years ago. It helped a lot because everyone was just sharing, both digital and print were sharing resources. So in terms of getting information, getting the news for the public, everyone was helping, not just the print reporters, but also the digital people who are very quick to spot which trends are going on now on social media. So everyone is helping. So the leaner that we have become, the more collaborative we have also become.
Mhm. Mhm.
So and then we're just thankful that the ads have been coming back since late last year, and that is really a major. That's really a great blessing. With ads coming in back, and then you know and then there's more access now to our news sources. So we're really we're adapting to the new normal and to the evolving changes not really post pandemic, during the pandemic.
Mhm.
The good thing about being in the news department is we get to adjust a lot faster and a lot better than the other departments, than the others in Sunstar, or maybe generally in the
Mhm.
news media industry.
Yes, that's right.
Matter of observing the social health safety protocol. Even from the start, even before the lockdown, we've already given our reporters, photographers, and even the editors, or even everyone in Sunstar. Actually, we've been giving them the mask and alcohol, all the stuff that is necessary for us to get protected from COVID. But we couldn't help that some had contracted the virus because the exposure beyond the newsroom is beyond our control.
Yeah.
So basically, we're coping well, and then we have the uh, blessing. I call these blessings because we've been through so much difficulty the last year. Yeah, the management has always been supportive of everyone in Sunstar. So whatever we needed that was within their capability to give, they gave us.
Mhm. I guess it also comes with like us as media practitioners, for us to be very adaptable and for us to always manage to find ways to make things work. I guess it's within us already. Like that's probably why we are one of the industries who can easily transition to whatever changes a certain kind of crisis may bring about. Miss Michelle actually touched on digital news platforms. So I would like to throw this next question to Miss Ruth. Um, of course, we kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but maybe like tell us more about the story on how you established and the reason why you actually really established newsport.ph, aside from the fact that, unfortunately, the media organization you worked for closed. And what do you think is the importance of digital news platforms?
Okay, Miss Chelsea, because the world, we know that the world evolves today under a new normal situation. And in view of that devastating impact ng COVID pandemic, alam natin, no, businesses nag-shift sa iba't ibang field, like sa media, going online para to fit into the needs ng mga tao under normal and yet abnormal circumstances. So the news fort was created in November, we were formed in November. Ako kasi yung una, although I correspondent ako ng The Manila Times, pero nag-isip kami, sayang naman yung talent namin dito sa local. Oo. So nagtap ako ng mga kasamahan ko dati sa Mirror. So we are 4 in News Fort na dating Mirror. Yung editor-in-chief namin nasa News Fort na rin. Tapos, ba't nagawa sa iba? Why can't we? So, sayang yung skills namin, sayang yung talent namin, sayang yung passion namin. So, na-create yung News Fort nga, no? Because media work is not exemption sa nangyaring pandemya. And most publishing companies, nagsara nga, at saka nawalan talaga ng income. So napag-isipan namin at mag-tap kami ng yung mga potential writers, yung mga deserving na maging kasamahan namin. Tapos actually, yung creation ng News Fort was only 2 weeks.
Wow!
Yes.
Wow!
Yes. 2 weeks talaga siya. 2 weeks lang. So 3 araw lang yun, nag-conceptualize kami anong title. O anong name ng news online natin, ganito. So ano yung brand name? Agad parang sumabog yung mga ideas namin. So nag-mix na yon. Tapos, and then the following week, okay, mag-launch tayo, ganitong petsa. So upon launching, dapat yung site natin meron ng laman. Meron ng laman. So during the launching, parang perfect na siya. Parang andyan na yung local, andyan na yung Bisaya, andyan na yung Tagalog, yung national, kasi mix kami. May Bisaya, may Tagalog, English, pero English pero Bisaya, Tagalog. Meron kaming segment na Tagalog at saka Bisaya. So, pag-launch namin is parang yung iba na shock sila kasi ganun na pala ka-prepared kami. And take note, 3 months pa lang kami, pero yung likes namin, yung reach namin, sobra-sobra na. At hindi din kami basta-basta ng mga writers kasi galing kami sa iba't ibang media outfit din na nag-collaborate yung mga ideas namin.
Avengers. Diba?
Yes, so tinatawag ng high caliber journalist ng Davao City, Charos. So nag-collab kami, ayun, na-create namin yon, and then we are now on our 4th month operation ng News Fort. Kami lahat amo because we are planning to make this News Fort into parang cooperative.
Okay.
Yes. So parang cooperative siya. So yun.
Sustainable talaga yung plan, di ba? It's a very small industry for everyone who's involved.
And congratulations. Yeah. I'm looking at your website now.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Tingnan mo, ma'am. Oo. Actually, yes. Actually, wala kaming sweldo. Wala kaming sweldo dito because starting pa lang kami, and kami din yung kukuha ng, yung mga advertisers, yung ganun. And yung challenge na namin ngayon is, alam mo naman yung businesses, no? Maraming business na close. Mahirap din kami maka-access, no? Makakuha ng sponsorship sa kanila. So because basically, meron kami mga yung parang next na gagawin or alternative kung hindi man kami makakuha. May mga things like that because we need also to sustain our operation. Hindi naman siguro succeed na yung operation kung wala naman tayong finances at finances, no, na gagalaw sa News Fort. So I'm hoping na talagang go na itong pinakabago na news, digital news online dito sa Davao City, Miss Chassie.
Of course, we have here supporting you. Everyone here in this forum is also supporting you. So go lang ng go, Miss Ruth, di ba?
Yeah.
So we were talking about all the challenges that we're facing, the sacrifices that we have to make for the organizations. But let's focus on the reporters. This one is for Miss Glazel. As a reporter, Miss Glazel, how did the pandemic impact the way you do your job?
Well, actually, Miss, at first, parang there's that fear and worry kasi COVID. So, parang that time, deadly virus talaga yung pag-describe sa kanya. So, natatakot na alarm din. But at the end of the day, yung urge mo talaga to deliver and to report yung mga stories na kailangan din ng mga tao, yun yung parang nagpo-push to continue talaga. Sa part ko, ngayon, as of now, actually, since last year, parang pinipili ko na lang yung mga kailangan kong puntahan or kailangan kong gawin kasi as safety measures din. And naka-help talaga yung sa social media kasi lahat na ng government offices or lahat na ng mga tao and mostly sa mga sources namin is are engaging din sa social media. So parang napapadali yung ginagawa namin. Although sometimes, mahirap din na mag-reach out kasi there are times na may mga stories talaga na need ng interviews. So, kailangan mo talagang lumabas din sa comfort zone na pagiging sa work at home na situation. So, yun. Pero, continue lang yung passion talaga kasi yung mga tao hindi naman nila directly, hindi sila nakaka-receive ng first-hand information. So, parang isa din yun sa hinihintay nila, yung news. So, yun, yung parang that urge na talaga to deliver. Yun yung nag-push to continue pa din. Kahit mahirap, kahit may mga limitations, yun.
Sometimes din naman, limitations actually challenge us and we want to do what's impossible, diba? Like it's not just challenging ourselves, but also challenging the resources that we have around us and make sure na parang we use them all to our advantage. Survival of the fittest, diba? So para-paraan lang at the end of the day. So we've talked about all the challenges, the hurdles. We wanted to ask you that, ladies, kasi we want to know how you're doing, diba? Like we know what's going on right now. We just want to know if you're okay, if you're doing all right, if you're managing, diba? If you're adapting quite well. So at the end of it all, as an umbrella idea, actually, we're focusing more on media, right? So I guess after talking about the challenges, it's time for us to really answer the big question. What is the role of media in the pandemic? So I'd like to start with Miss Michelle.
Okay.
What's the role of media in this pandemic?
The role of news media during the pandemic has been amplified because there was no other way for people to get information other than there are other radio, of course, the traditional radio, TV, but social media has really been the catalyst in this time of the pandemic for us to give the news to the public. So news comes out faster now because everyone is just racing to be the first to put out the breaking news on social media, to the detriment of the quality of information that is out there. I think this is not just this did not just happen in Sunstar, but it's also true in other newsrooms. But of course, the good side of putting out immediately on social media, we can easily edit it a few minutes later if you can update, not just social media but also on our website. So, but there's always the danger of putting out something that is haphazard and then that is anemic, things that need to be substantiated, but because our reporters fear that the competitors will put out the breaking news earlier than they, so they have to just be there, be the first, because that's our rule. Be the first, always be the first. But then but we in the is the first layer would have to be the reporters, where because they're the ones who get free first access to their news sources, and then it's the editors who come in later to edit say like grammar, spelling, and even information that was wrongfully put out because of the exigency of the situation. So and then there's also the challenge of putting out the fire when it comes to fake news, because
Yes.
in the time not just starting last year, people have been, when COVID was rising, a lot of people were suspicious of the virus, if it's really real or not. So we had to put out that doubt that it's true, it's COVID is real. And then so we had to put out news about people who died, people who have faces now. They're not just the ones who died in the US, died in China. So these are now Cebuanos, Cebuanos whom we knew, who are dying, or who died, or who contracted the disease, the virus. So it's something very close to home now. So and then we put out a lot of public advisory about how to protect yourself from contracting the virus by putting a lot of pub mats. So now always wear mask when you're outside, wash your hands, etc. That stuff. So I think we not just Sunstar, but all the other media outlets as well, both in digital and in the traditional form, have really been doing our best. We've been doing our best to inform the public of what's going on, to the extent that the readers, the audience, have become nauseous of being fed so much COVID information. Yeah. So, but then there was no other kind of news that we could put out, because everyone was being locked down. It's all there is it's all there is on your Facebook news feed. It's all about COVID. So it came to a point that we didn't want, much as we wanted to publish or post some non-COVID stories, we could not, because there was nothing was happening. We couldn't even publish travel articles or post something about travel, because no one was traveling.
Right.
And then all, it was either about COVID or about the stuff that's being sold, food, whatever. So it was like buy and you put out your product, and then people buy.
Yeah.
So it was like trade and COVID, either trade or COVID. That was what was coming out in everyone's newsfeed last year. But lately, since especially Cebu, we've opened up to tourism again. So there are now photos or feeds about places to go, about promotions of hotels and resorts. So at least there's something different now that we see on Facebook.
So at least there are some changes. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully, of course, we always turn to traditional media. I really agree with you, Miss Michelle, when you said that you had to work so hard to put out the fires about fake news.
Yes.
You had to do it. Otherwise, people will be misinformed, and it will, of course, eventually create chaos. And we appreciate everything.
But this is particular to Super Balita, because it's the one that's the pangmasa. That's the one that uses the local language, Bisaya. So we needed Super Balita to be the more aggressive in coming out with pubmats that inform the public, inform our audience of what to do, of how to protect yourself. We put out so many advisories against protection, against which places what's going on right now. So every day there's like, this particular store is open only until today, or until this hour only. So we gave out a lot of advisories So things that are information that's helpful to the public, that we deem helpful to the massa.
Mm. Okay. Thank you, Miss Michelle. Same question, Miss Glazil. What is the role of media during this pandemic?
Actually, I agree with Miss Michelle. No? I think the role of the media amid this crisis is to really do fact and reality check of the information to remain as trusted source. And it is also important that trusted media sources should also don't just ignore misinformation but also attempt to counter it. So and kasi yung media is a powerful medium, it's a powerful tool. So madali siyang maka-influence ng tao. So madaling mapaniwala, madaling ma-influence yung beliefs, yung mga ganon. So parang dapat din yung media parang dapat mag-counter din nung stigma na yon to instead of creating fear, dapat may sharing of awareness para ma-educate and ma-inform yung tao sa kung ano yung about sa COVID and kung ano yung mga ginagawa din ng mga governing bodies about it. So dapat may mga options din sila.
Okay. Yes. And finally, Miss Ruth, your take. What is the role of media during this pandemic?
Yes, Ms. Chassie, we know that media plays a vital role in giving information to the public and also connecting people. And don't you know that if there are disadvantages during sa pandemya, there are also advantages during this time of pandemic, especially in the media, because we have a lot of sources now. And maraming balita actually. Di ba? Maraming balita. Yung mga sources natin sa military, sa defense, nag-shift na rin into health. Nag-health na rin sila, di ba? So marami kaming maisulat, marami kaming sources, marami kaming magawa. And although merong mga restrictions, pero nakakalabas pa rin kami at hindi naman limited doon yung sources namin, like kailangan talaga puntahan. No? Dali lang silang kausapin, madali lang silang matawagan, ganon. What's good in Davao because ang accessibility ng communication between sa mga sources, possible sources, mga potential sources, madali lang. Ang bilis. At saka gumagawa talaga ng paraan at kumikilos talaga yung mga communication arms ng mga companies or ng mga agencies because na ang information is madali na lang i-PPM mo na lang, i-email mo na lang, may report ka na. Yung parang gano'n, not necessarily na lalabas ka pa, kukuha ka pa ng information. Napakaraming balita. Yun yung advantage siguro on the part ng media, like ako nag-feel din naman kasi ako. Ang daming balita. Pwedeng nakakatamad lang nga no yung pandemic because parang yung sa mga reporters ayaw na lumabas, di ba? Meron na kasi dito sa Davao, meron na kasi mga physical gatherings sa mga press conferences, physical, no? Meron na mga actual gatherings. Yung mga reporters ayaw nang lumabas. Kasi gusto na lang makikinig at manonood yung sa live na lang. Parang nakakatamad rin. Nakakatamad rin. So yes, nakakatamad rin pero mas okay pa rin na lalabas tayo at least makikita natin exposure din naman yun ng company natin. Misinformation because we know that it will create confusion. It will create fear, spreads fear. Yung madali lang kasi sa digital, pag digital news online ka, pag isa mo lang, pag just in ka lang, maka-break ka lang, wala na, sabog na. Kung mali yun, parang misinformation na yun, parang fake news mo na yun. Legit na nga kami, legit na nga tayo na media, mayroon pang magsabi, legit ito? parang fake news ito? Totoo ito? Hello? Yung parang nakakairita, di ba? Parang gusto mo nang awayin. Yes, yung parang mainstream media na hello, media kaya kami, but parang pang nagtatanong na legit ba ito? Fake news ito? Totoo ito?
There are so many fake news na
yeah.
alat na ngayon pa, na parang some of them even carry the logos or
Yeah,
very
exactly.
similar to the
Mm.
logos of legit news publications or outlets actually.
Yeah,
Diba?
yeah.
Sometimes it's very hard, especially nowadays sa mga tao is like they're just like in a hurry all the time. So when they scroll lang ng scroll, di ba? Like also don't think while scrolling, they're actually just scrolling. So if they see something, uy, parang, oh, ito. So they question it all the time or spread it without even verifying the news source.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
So I agree with all of the three of our panelists today. Of course, we turn to media to know what the truth is. Diba?
Yeah.
So despite the emergence of a lot of other news sources in the form of maybe mga blog sites or influencers sometimes also, or even people who just really have opinions, we always turn to media to always verify our news stories, right? So now, ladies, because it is International Women's Month. Happy International Women's Month, by the way, and belated Happy International Women's Day. Hello, hello. Did you celebrate?
Hello. Happy International Women's Month to everyone.
Yes.
Celebrate it ba? Or too busy with work na parang everyday naman is Women's Day eh. Diba?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Of course, in connection to that, sometimes I get tired of this question, to be honest with you. I get tired of this question. Like, people always come up to us, especially it's International Women's Month. What, as women leaders, are there specific challenges unique to you in the media industry as women leaders? Like sometimes I think na parang, is there supposed to be like a problem? Are you actually looking for a problem just because of our gender? Or can we just like parang neutralize this? Like, but it can't be helped. A lot of people still don't really understand the way women perform in the jobs that we do. And we actually do excel in it. A lot of people still think that we lack in something just because we're women. So we'd like to know from each one of you if there are actually specific challenges that's unique to you as a woman in the media industry. Let's start with Miss Glazel.
Actually, I can't think of any of one. Pero based on my experience, ano lang siguro, parang sa age gap, parang ganon.
What?
Yeah, kasi di ba naging president ako ng press club. So, parang I am the youngest president of the Negros Press Club. So, during the time na they learned na I'm seeking for that a higher position. So, parang madaming nagda-doubt to the point na parang maraming lumalabas na mga, issues, ganyan-ganyan na hindi ko kaya. Yeah, I'm very too young. I'm very young. And then, may mga challenges na hindi ko pa kaya. And then I need more experience para to reach that level. So yun, parang hindi sila hindi sila open sa idea na kahit bata, but there's that willingness to serve na ano talaga genuine na kaya naman, and marami namang matututunan along the way. So yun, parang kasi sa kanila dapat maraming experiences muna bago ka makaakyat sa ganung level. So pero fortunately naman na nakayanan din naman and na-survive din kahit may pandemic. So yun, siguro with the support din naman ng mga tao na naniniwala sa kakayahan ko, and then sa self ko din na kaya ko, naniniwala ko na kaya ko. So yun, nalampasan ko din naman.
Yay! We're happy. Congratulations, diba?
Thank you.
How to show
Thank
that?
you.
How about you?
In terms of challenges I faced as a woman leader in the news media, I don't know. I can't. Let's say that everyone is on equal footing here in the Cebu media. There's no discrimination against women editors or even women reporters. So maybe the challenge lies in having the family. So like one gets pregnant, so of course one has to take a maternity leave, but then now there's already the paternity leave. It's not just the female reporter or editor, but also the male reporter or editor that can go on, who goes on leave when the wife delivers, or he takes the paternity leave. So, but other than that, I don't see any difficult challenge. But the challenge really we're facing now is economic. That's the one. All the others, okay lang. We've been able to hurdle those challenges. Primarily because we've always had I'm talking of Sunstar primarily because we've had the support of our management, of the owners, as well as in the previous years, our top editor, Attorney Shares. So everyone, we don't discriminate against anyone, not against age, against gender, against academic background. Wala. Everyone just had to prove themselves that they're worthy to be in Sunstar. Mm-hmm. So, but like, it's really the challenge really is for the paper, for ads to come in more frequently.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I guess if you get to be an editor in any newsroom, you have to be tough and have to learn to cope with the demands of the work, because it's really a tough job. But then the women journalists are also tough.
Yeah.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Exactly. Do you still get those, like, this is I don't know, maybe this is a thing of the past, but I just wanted to ask also, it still exists now, na parang if a woman exerts her authority, she's seen as being, not like bossy.
When you're the boss, you really have to be bossy. It's regardless of whether you're female or male. When you're the boss, you really have to be the boss. You have to show everyone you're the boss. Because these especially journalists, they're also stubborn and hard-headed. They like to do things their way. But then they forget that the editors were also former were once in field, and who, it's like a pattern or a cycle. Yeah. So the things that these reporters tell you, I couldn't get this information from a news source because the news source is not available, etc. They make all kinds of excuses for not being able to get the story, and then we just tell them, Pikat, we had this, we did this during our time. So we understand that there are certain days that there are bad days in anyone's life. So you just have to let go of some of these say shortcomings for the day, and then just wait for the next day to arrive, and that is going to be a fresh day, fresh news stories, fresh approach.
I really like that. You have to show them who's boss, regardless if you're male or female. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
That's right. And of course, sige, Miss Ruth, how about you? Are there any unique challenges to you in the media industry as a woman leader?
Miss Chassie, services, men are still the majority of storytellers daw. I don't agree. Kasi sa amin, mas marami ang babae na sumusulat kaysa sa lalaki. So I guess fair representation sa media. Because I was once also a broadcaster, I've been in the radio industry for 22 years bago ako nag-print. So I was 22 years sa broadcast. Meron kasi yung parang discrimination na rin sa mga babae. Like the manager would say, or the program director would say, we want male. We don't like female. Kasi ang mga lalaki daw kasi mas mabilis. Pag i-deploy mo siya, doon na kaagad. Ang babae, mabihis pa, mag-aarte pa, yung mga ganun ba? So, dapat a fair representation sa media outlet, and hindi mamili. At saka meron ding mga cases na yung parang pay gap, mas malaki ang sahod ng lalaki kaysa sa babae.
Prevalent
kasi
ba? Now, is it still very prevalent?
Not in Sunstar.
Not
It's Sunstar, okay.
actually, oo. Pero may magaganon pa rin. Kasi babae, newsroom ka lang. Andyan ka lang sa loob, hindi ka mag-field. Ang lalaki nasa in danger, ang lalaki at risk. Yung parang ganon na perception pa rin ang mga ibang yung mga oldies ng mga media people na mag-hire ng mga tao dapat lalaki, yung reporters dapat lalaki. Pero hello, dito sa Davao, marami naman mga reporters na babae. Mas dominated pa kayo mga babae kaysa sa mga lalaki ng mga journalists.
Well, I'd really still want to talk to you ladies about these topics, no? Especially when we start talking about women's role in giving equal opportunities to both male and females. The conversation could go on, but of course our time is very limited. So maybe to wrap things up, maybe what we can talk about are like if you have any sort of advocacies that you're actually pushing to encourage women and to empower women. Please do tell us if you have these kinds of advocacies that you're personally pushing yourself. Miss Michelle, let's start with you.
For an advocacy that's directed to help women, it's nothing extraordinary because I treat everyone equally or the same. So I don't have preference whether you're. It depends on the situation. Really, it depends on the situation. So I don't know. I have so many advocacies that I help that I can that advocacies that I put out that I put forth, but I can think of one right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
sige, but that's your assignment siguro, Miss Michelle. Your assignment. Follow up, ha?
Or maybe my advocacy is not something that I really put make public. I don't want some accolades or something. I just help wherever I can.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Miss Michelle. Miss Glazel, any advocacies that you're pushing to encourage women empowerment?
Actually, it's more of a suggestion or an advice, siguro. Kasi like to raise your voice, whether you're talking, it can start naman sa bahay, whether you're talking to your family or friends or sa trabaho din, sa newsroom, ganun. It's really important to speak up, to share awareness din, and to get involved and to support one another, parang ganun. Kasi actually I can think of one din. Parang more on advice na lang for women na ganun, na may ano din sila, may right din sila to speak up, to raise their concerns, and na pakinggan din kung ano yung mga concerns nila.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Miss Ruth, parang you're writing something there, huh?
Di sila. Raise your voice. You have to speak it up. Kung ano yung nasa loobin mo, ilabas mo. Yung parang, this is also to encourage women na hindi masalita, na hindi, yung parang, dapat you have to voice out kung ano yung mga hinaing mo. Dapat hindi siya pigil-pigilan, because through raising your voice, maybe awareness din para sa babae yan, no? Para sa mga kababaihan. And ako kasi although marami na akong organization na ako ang president, parang open kasi ako, hindi ako yung parang mabossy na ako ang president, ganun dapat ako ang sunod. Hindi. I still get the consensus of everyone. Yung parang kinukuha ko talaga yung mga ideas nila bago sa akin. So I suggest, tapos yung suggestion nila, ganun kasi din ako. So dapat yung mga kababaihan, dapat speaking up, no? Yung yung nasa loobin nila, magsalita, hindi magpatalo. Gender equality. Yung parang pag sigawan ka ng lalaki, sigawan mo rin.
Right, got you, ganun.
Dili magpadaog-daog. Yung parang ganun, Ma'am Chassie. Yeah, you raise your voice.
You have to know how to fight for what is right. And especially when you know what's right, you really have to fight for it, because like it's also up to us women to allow people to treat us the way we want to be treated. So if we allow people to mistreat us, they don't always mistreat us, but if we start actually standing up for ourselves, and that's right, Miss Ruth, speaking up, and then things might actually take a turn. Slowly but surely, we still have a long way to go towards gender equality. What we're really asking for right now as women is not that women to be more equal than males. It's just that we're asking for equal opportunities. Diba? We have to challenge the norms now. The hashtag Dare to Challenge, diba? That's like the theme of International Women's Month. So, and of course, speaking of women in media also, you ladies are doing a great job. Thank you so much for the things that you do, for persevering, for being so resilient, and for providing us with all the information that we need. Because at the end of the day, we'll always turn to traditional media to
Oh,
find.
Chassie, I have something to say about women giving voice to women. We in the media have a role in giving voice to these women. And not just to women, but to anyone who needs to be heard. That's why we are the vehicle for a vehicle to the local government, to anyone who has to the decision makers. So we are like like I said, the vehicle, the medium for these people to be heard, for women to be heard, for men to be heard, for children to be heard. That's where our role is. For them to speak out, but for them to be heard by those who need to hear them.
That's right.
All.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Miss Michelle. We really do agree with you. And thank you, ladies, for sharing your insights on this VisMin Media experience and for being our first panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to actually see you again outside. Baka things will get better. Hopefully, if people just listen to what the media has to say on what to do and what not to do. The pandemic is still going on. And so we have to remain vigilant. And again, happy International Women's Month to all of you ladies. Now, our next episode will focus on VisMin Women Leaders in Business. And is there anything else, by the way, that you want to say? Parang last hurrah to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, PR Works, and thank you, Chassie. You did a very good job in the moderating the webinar. Glad to meet you here, Ruth and
yes, Ma'am Michelle.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, until next time, this has been Chassie. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and always stay safe. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.